Hello, everybody. This is Kenny Cummins here of Chilling with Kenny C right here on TMV Cafe, bringing you entertainment to your ears. And I always got to come through with the wrestling interviews. I got to. It's in my nature, to be quite honest. And I've been wanting to interview this lady for quite some time. She's wrestled in the East Coast, she's wrestled in the West, she's wrestled in the Midwest. She's doing her thing, and she wrestles indoors, outdoors. Well, if there's a wrestling ring, chances are she's going to wrestle in it and kick your butt. I'm just saying. The great equalizer herself, Miss Angel Metro, is joining me right now. How's it going?
Oh, it's going great. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you on, and you had quite a busy weekend. So I want to start off with that because you are very intriguing on social media with your posts, with the quotes, the promos, the vignettes, everything leading up to your shows. So this past weekend, I think it was Warriors of Wrestling.
Correct.
And you had a match, and there were some rumblings. There's like trying to pit people against each other. You still managed to pick up the victory. So
Yes.
if you don't mind, talk about the whole circumstances leading up to that match and how you feeling days removed from that victory.
Okay. Yeah, so Warriors of Wrestling, it's a wrestling promotion that's based out of Staten Island. Um, I currently hold their women's title. I've held it for almost a year now. Actually, the next show, which is going to be the anniversary show, will be my 1 year mark. I defeated Zeta Steel last year for that title.
Mhm.
That made the owner, Joe Bellini, not too happy. He's kind of had it out for me. He's not a big fan of some of the wrestling styles that I do and some of the venues and events that I work. So I think as I've gone on with the title and also done these other wrestling type of shows. He's just kind of taken a grievance to that. I've had numerous different opponents for that title, which I've successfully defended against everyone. And this last show, he he hired my tag partner, Riley Crow,
Okay.
to wrestle me for the title. Which I mean, from his perspective, interesting strategy. From a logical perspective, I don't know what he was thinking, but yeah, Riley obviously didn't show up. She kind of played him a bit, which was very funny. But instead, he had me wrestle Ivan, and it was a non-title match, and I got the defeat on him. And that was a great match. He was definitely a challenging opponent. And then later on in the evening, Bellini had a match with a friend of mine, Mr. Puerto Rico. And Bellini's actually done more than one thing to kind of sabotage me a little bit while I've held the women's belt. Me and Bonesaw Brooks, we actually were the first ever all-female tag team to win the tag team belts at Warriors in its almost 17-year history. I also became the first woman to ever hold double titles at that promotion as well. We won them from this team. They call themselves the Bellini Club, but basically his own faction. And basically they just played dirty next time around and stole the belts back. But during this whole feud, Mr. Puerto Rico's kind of had my back a little bit, and I definitely owed him a solid for one of those times. So, yeah, I just came out and didn't do anything, crazy or anything like that. I just decided to let Bellini have a little bit of a piece of my mind during his match, and Mr. Puerto Rico got the win on that. And Bellini definitely was pissed off because of that. I guess he doesn't like his own medicine, but basically he flew off the handle and challenged me for my belt for my women's title. Uh, which I don't know how he's going to pull that off with the athletic commission. Um, yeah, but that's what he said. He's challenging me for the women's title next month at the anniversary show. So I don't know. I guess he got tired of hiring people and thinks he's going to be able to do this by himself. We did have a match. He did get the win on me before. Um, but every time I get a little bit smarter. I learn something from every match that I do. And I definitely try to take whatever I learn and apply it moving forward. So yeah, I have no idea how that's going to turn out, but that's basically the whole drama from this last weekend in New York.
I mean, first off, congratulations on your victory,
Thank you.
closing in on a year as their champion. That is an incredible feat. Everybody, that's the thing with a champion, you always got a bullseye on your back. And when you got a power hungry boss, commissioner, or whatever term people use, they're gonna want to do what it takes to take out people that they seen as a threat. Um, and you have persevered time and time again. And I'm curious to hear about this meeting between him and the commission trying to challenge you for your women's championship. I mean, I think the commission is going to have a good laugh when he addressed the situation to them.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, who do he think he is? Andy Kaufman? I mean, that's where we're going. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah,
Um,
and
I don't know. He I don't want to say he's power hungry, but he has a certain way that he wants things to run in wrestling. He has certain beliefs, and they aren't necessarily wrong, but I'm a strong believer that everyone is welcome in wrestling as long as you're dedicated to learning and you love it. There's all different styles, all different types of people from all walks of life. Um, and he and I disagree with certain things regarding that. So, yeah, I think we'd all like to kind of be in on that meeting to see how that would go
oh
down because
yeah,
the
yeah.
commissioner up there is tough too. So I don't know,
I
whatever.
I believe you should be in that meeting because you are the champion, and I think you can join in on the laughter
Yeah.
alongside with the commission. I mean, like to that individual, I say good luck. I mean, like it's a woman's championship, not intergender, not a male
Correct.
title. It
Correct.
is a woman's champion, and you are a of the male species. So, I mean, I don't think it's going to take long, but with these people, you don't know. But
Yeah, I don't know. I know what the rules are up there regarding this title and all that. I don't know what Bellini's thinking, but again, that's on him. He's the one that said it, not me.
yeah,
I think he's getting a little, I don't want to say paranoid, but I think he's getting a little stressed because, again, Warriors is almost 17 years going now. It's a long, long history as a promotion and school as well. They have a great wrestling school, and during that time, they've had some incredible talents from all different types of promotions and all over, wrestling come in. As a matter of fact, our last show, the main event was a match with one of the Warrior guys, Mike and Jay Lethal. It was a fabulous match. So they get great names in there all the time. But because I've held it for so long, I think I'm the third longest reigning women's champion at this point. And so I think he's getting a little desperate or anxious to kind of boot me out pretty quick here because I mean it's not that big of a time span between third and first. So as I get closer to etching up to that number one spot, I think he's getting a little more than concerned about that. So again, I don't know. what he's gonna make of that or what's gonna come of that. But we'll all have to wait and see because I'm sure we're gonna find out pretty soon here.
Oh yeah. So check out the next show, Warriors of Wrestling, that is coming on early December. I think the 7th.
Mhm.
It's their anniversary
Yes.
show. So a lot of big names on the card. Angel Metro, the current women's champion, closing in on the year as champion. She'll be there as well. It's one of the premier promotions in the New York area. Congratulations to them on their anniversary. Any promotion of independence that can withstand sustain for that long and still have that following, still have that support. That's an incredible milestone.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
it's just and that's just a reminder, man. Support independent wrestling. Stuff promotions like Warriors of Wrestling can go on for as long as they want to, as long as people show up and buying tickets and have a good time. That's
Hmm.
just what it boils down to. So go check out the show December the 7th. Now, I've, of course, prior to Hooligan Championship Wrestling, I've heard of you through fellow Indiana promotion, XCF Wrestling.
Yes.
And you've wrestled there numerous times. And then
Yes.
and obviously you've wrestled males, you wrestled females, you wrestle, regular matches, hardcore matches. I mean, you adapt to anything, it seems like. So, and that what made me intriguing to you. I'm like, I have got to see Angel Metro. And I do being her notifications like, I got to see Angel Metro. So, and I finally got that chance to see you at Hooligan Championship Wrestling on their previous show. I was a sponsor for that show, and I had a good time. Shout out to Erin Shafter and to Thomas and all those guys there. They put on an awesome promotion, and you put on an incredible match with
Oh, thank you.
Ashlyn Alexander. That was one of my favorite matches of the night. And Ashlyn, being the stand up person that she is, with everything that transpired at the show before that, and she said, "I'm gonna give Angel her chance for the crown," and which
Hmm.
ended up being the number one contenders match. You
Hmm.
ended up picking up the victory, and it was just announced this past weekend. The current champion, Maggie Lee, will be at the double event, and her opponent for that double event is the number one contender herself, Miss Angel Metro. You get your shot in January.
Yes.
So, with that being said, I mean, you are no stranger to championships, obviously. How are you feeling going into this match in January against Maggie?
um, I mean, I'm feeling good, you know. HCW's a bit of a newer promotion, but having the first show that I worked for them, I really liked it. I liked the environment. I liked the people that were in charge. I just liked the general vibe of it and the kind of cards they were laying out. So I'm really looking forward to it. You know, it's based in Evansville, Indiana, which I've talked about my promos and stuff for previous shows there. I'm a big wrestling history fan, and so Evansville, Indiana has such a long history in wrestling. Excuse me, during the territory days, especially. A lot of wrestling moments took place in Evansville, Indiana, and so yeah, it's a great opportunity for me. You know, I've never been one to pursue championships, titles, tournament wins, anything like that for the sake of pursuing them to add them up, to a collection or anything like that. I like the in between, seeing striving for things like that, striving for a new title belt. There's a certain amount of growth that has to happen, I think, for each one. And I really love how much it challenges me, for the fans, whoever I'm facing, my opponent. And so this one, it's been really nice because I've kind of, when I'm there, I kind of get to go back to my training days a little bit because I was trained by Jimmy Valiant, who not only, of course, is a very well known name in the territory days, but spent a good amount of time in Evansville as well during the years and stuff. And so, yeah, I don't know. It kind of has like a home feel, and because of that, it's a bit sentimental, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to pushing myself. Maggie Lee's a great wrestler, and it's definitely going to be a challenge. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes out, not only from the promotion and from her, but also from myself leading up to it. I'm going to have to shape my approach based off of where her head is at. I feel like each match I do, I really try to shape my mentality off of the other person. It helps me, again, like you said, I adapt to a lot of different um, wrestling match types and different promotions, different areas, things like that. And a big part of doing that is listening versus just talking. Instead of just talking about myself and what I'm going to do and this and this and this, I really like to sit back and listen and see what's going on and then start moving based off of that.
Yeah, and you definitely put on a lot of perspective on your performances, you on matches, things like that. You're a true student of the game. As you point out, you are a wrestling historian buff, and I love the promos that you do leading up to the matches. I'm like, man, this woman is God sent. She is like, she gets it, and
Thank
people
you.
are glued to what you are saying. It's more just that I'm gonna beat this person up. Like you break it all down from the promotion to the environment to what your mind is at, with everything that has transpired leading up to said match, and that's what gets things going. That's what's going to get people excited for these shows, and makes people buy their tickets if they haven't already.
Sure. Yeah.
I like what Hooligan Championship Wrestling has done thus far. Like you said, it's a young promotion, and they only striving to get better.
Hmm.
They definitely are getting some talent out there in the Evansville area to get their name out there, and they definitely taking pride of women wrestling. So I mean, it's that got some heavy hitters on that show.
Hmm.
They got Shaza McKenzie.
Hmm.
They got Mackenzie Morgan. They got Alexis Littlefoot. They got the Hero Girl, Arica Domica. I can't even pronounce her name, but uh, but they got a lot of good talent on there. So and a lot of good friends of mine. So I'm excited for the show, and I'll definitely will be there.
Awesome.
I'm glad that I can say that I saw Angel Metro in 2024. That's off my bucket list. That's
Oh,
one of the
that's so
main
kind of you.
things. That's one of the main things I wanted to do.
That's
Um,
awesome. Thank you so much.
so yeah, absolutely. So I want to go back to the part adapting to matches because as I
Hmm.
point out, you've been in regular matches, you've been in hardcore matches, you've been indoor, outdoor, you've been in backyard matches. You are like one of the most versatile performers I know.
Thank you.
So with that being said, like what's it? I want to go to the backyard matches because
Sure.
that's what I be seeing.
Yeah.
And talk about that environment compared to just a regular wrestling match. How would you describe the environment there compared to just a regular indoor show that people are accustomed to?
Sure. Um, well, I think it's subjective. Obviously, every promotion has its own vibe. But generally speaking, backyard shows are a little bit it's got a little bit more of a relaxed vibe. It's almost like the family barbecue. It feels like that at a wrestling show. There's a lot less stress. um, there's a lot more to work with as far as, you have a lot of different factors to deal with the environment, the weather, the fan placement can always be different, things like that. With the hardcore shows, you always have like an array of, weapons to work with and things around the venue and stuff like that. I really like it because it allows me or forces me to be more creative and think about things in a bit of a different way because it's a different setting, they're always unusual settings, and so I like that. I like being pushed to kind of grow and stretch my brain a little bit.
Yeah, I like the barbecue vibe, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like just hanging out in the cookout, especially the warm weather. I'm a warm weather person. I'm an outdoors person. And so anytime that you got me 90 degrees weather, a nice barbecue, I'm there. And then you bring in some wrestling on there. Oh, I'm definitely there.
Yeah.
So yeah, people do have the mixed feelings towards backyard wrestling. And I get it from both accounts. I don't have a problem with it per se. The Young Bucks, they came from there, and they're
Hmm.
one of the biggest names of wrestling. They now co-own a promotion. Um, and as long as at the end of the day, fans like to be bloodthirsty. They want to see fights and things like that. But then people tend to forget wrestlers, they're human.
Yeah.
There's a character out, there are human behind the characters that we see. And most important for me, not just as a fan, but as a human, is that hey, as long as everybody's okay, as long as everybody know what to do, then and it ain't bothering nobody that's not there, then wrestling's supposed to be fun,
Hmm.
and I feel like people take it too seriously sometimes. I'm almost been to 70 shows this
Hmm.
year. Different fields, big crowds, small crowds. Doesn't matter to me as long as I'm there and having fun and seeing
Right.
my friends live out their dream,
Yeah.
and just that's just what it boils down to. The backyard doesn't bother me. Um, as long as everybody's careful, that's all I care. Just be
Sure.
careful. You know what I'm saying? Take care of yourselves.
Yeah,
So
the stigma with backyard, I think, is a little silly because, I mean, when you really boil it down, virtually, I don't know, 80% of wrestlers started in a backyard. They started 7, 8 years old, wrestling their brother, their cousin, whoever on a trampoline, jumping off their roof, jumping off a tree, trying to, put the walls of Jericho on their little sibling, whatever, in the living room. Like, right?
that yeah, that
Like almost everyone has done that. So there's a wrestling ring, there's a crowd, it's wrestling. I'm as happy wrestling in a backyard as long as the crowds are into it as I would be at any, you know, wrestling venue, prestigious or, however. Like, it's wrestling. I love wrestling. I don't care necessarily where it is as long as there's a halfway decent ring and the crowd's into it. Like, I just love wrestling. And I think you're right. I do think some people do take it too seriously, but the wrong aspects they're taking too seriously. And there is something to say when you come from a very prestigious school, from a very prestigious trainer, when have all these, decorations and achievements and things like that. It's not knocking that, but the heart of wrestling is fun. It's having fun and doing things that you didn't think you were capable of, and the crowd has never seen or didn't know you were capable of or knew you were capable of and finally got to see you do it, finally got to see you achieve it or, do that move or whatever it is. And so that to me is the most important part. And of course, safety is, a huge, huge thing for any type of entertainment, sports, anything like that. But I think it's really silly to like turn your nose down at a community that started, I mean, originally, you had like collegiate wrestling and things like that, more of that brought over from like Eastern European immigrants to the Midwest, right? And so you'd have these hour long, ironically, these hour long matches out in the sun, outdoors, outside with this crowd watching. And then, it took more of like the traveling sideshow, vibe to it and stuff like that. So I think it's really silly to like, I don't know, turn your nose down at something as a whole in wrestling. I always try to avoid doing that as much as I can. There may be, individual circumstances or situations that I may not agree with or I may not like, but as a whole genre or a whole subset of wrestling, I really try not to dismiss the entire thing, because you can, as long as, again, there are people who love it, which there are in every aspect of wrestling, no matter how, by the book or how outlandish, like there's always people that love it. So as long as you have that, you're going to find something good, something new, something you can learn from it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I tried to not be so much of a I don't want to say elitist, but yeah, an elitist about wrestling because again, it's just you're just supposed to have it hurts too much to not have fun. It does. You beat
Yeah.
yourself up way too much to not have fun doing it. So why like look down on people that are doing the same thing?
Yeah. And I'm just gonna put my hand up for the simple fact that I've may have wrestled with some of my cousins at a young age, very young, very naive. And one of my cousins had turned out to be a wrestler now. He's mostly in the South Carolina, Georgia area.
Sure.
His name is Dexter, Dynamite Dexter is his
Hmm.
name. Very flamboyant personality. Pop, where he's enjoying wrestling,
That's
and
awesome.
I'm very proud of him. People look at me as the quote unquote wrestling fan in the family, but I'm not the wrestler compared to him. And then people was looking at me like, yo, you should be a wrestler. Like you 6'5", 250, like you can do it. I have to tell people like that nah, I watched it since the 90s. I it takes a toll on a human's body. Like if you can't even do the simple things, it ain't for you. So
Yeah,
I'm better off being front row watching. Now, if the wrestlers want me to help hold a wrestler and you chop a person, I can
sure,
do that. But other
sure.
than that, me, Kenny, the wrestler, not happening. That's
Fair
just
enough.
it's just you wrestlers are some of the toughest athletes in the world. If not the toughest, considering the schedule that y'all have to go through.
Yes,
There is no off season, as people like to say.
yes.
So wrestlers are just on a whole nother level. So we mentioned Warrior of Wrestling in December. We mentioned Hooligan in January. So you got any other upcoming shows between now and then, leading into 2025 or before years end of 2024 that you got that people need to know?
Sure. Yeah, I have a few ones I can remember offhand. I have so a newer promotion starting up in Michigan. It's called For Us Wrestling. I think it's Wyandotte. I think that's the city name. But I have that this weekend. Again, For Us Wrestling, and I'll be wrestling Heather Blue, and that's for their I believe it's their women's hardcore title specifically, which is very cool. Yeah, so we'll be having a hardcore match this weekend. Um, Obviously I have the Warriors anniversary show. I'll actually be doing commentary again for Combat Zone CZW, their Cage of Death event, their tournament. I'll be on commentary for that, like I was for Tournament of Death. And that'll be December 21st, and that's taking place in Atlantic City.
Mm. So you got some shows getting you ready to end the year, and then it's on the 2025. Now, speaking of championships, I have to apologize. I'm a little distracted because I do see a championship to your left or to your right that's
Yes.
hanging.
All
Uh,
right.
is that the Warriors championship? Or that's another
No,
title.
that's another one. I do have the Warriors one as well, but that's in a different area. It's still in my still in my suitcase bag. So I had that one on the road last weekend. So
So,
yeah.
yeah. So Angel Metro, thank you so much for your time. You're a very busy lady, and I've been trying to get you on the show for quite some time, and I'm happy to say that I got this interview to happen. Um, you are such an incredible talent, and you are a genuine soul of a
Thank
human
you so
being.
much.
So I'm glad to say that I've met you and that I'm a fan of your work. And you are a good representation of wrestling. You are definitely an embodiment of wrestling. So
Thank you so
just
much. That means a
so
lot.
so
Thank
so
you.
so keep doing your thing. I will be cheering you on in January to win that title for Maggie. Now I've watched Maggie. She likes to do underhanded tactics, you know. So I'm pretty sure you're aware of her work, but I'm just putting it out there for preference as you prepare for that particular
Sure. No, I
match.
appreciate
So
it. Any feedback and
uh,
advice leading up to that match, I
yeah.
definitely appreciate it. It sounds like she's definitely going to keep me on my toes.
So y'all can check out Angel Metro on multiple social media accounts. She is on Instagram at is it Angel underscore Metro? Uh, or
I
is
think it's
that
Metro
Metro?
Angel at Instagram. You can
Yeah.
basically just type in Angel Metro into any social media outlet and you'll find me. I'm kind of hard to, mistake for someone else. You'll know it's me.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Just Google Angel Metro and her name will pop up. Go buy her merch too. Go buy her 810s, especially if you're not able to be at the shows in person. I gotta get me an Angel Metro shirt now. I know my friend, your friend Cliff, he always come through with the shirts and everything. I looked at Cliff like, dude, I gotta get that shirt, man. I gotta get this shirt. So hopefully I can get one before January. If not, then I'll be more than happy to buy one in person. So
Awesome.
you enjoy your week. You enjoy
Thank you.
your the remainder of your the upcoming holiday season, the remainder of the year, and yeah, I'll see you in January. Hooligan
Awesome.
Championship Wrestling. She is challenging Maggie Lee for their women's championship. It's a star-studded double event. So you get to go to two events for the price of one, and some of the wrestlers are still taking sponsorships. Angel, of course, already taken. But go check her out. Go check out the show. Go check out Warrior of Wrestling if you're in New York, and Combat Zone Wrestling and other places that she'll be on there. You enjoy your night, Angel, and
Thank you
thanks
so
again.
much.
You have
Thank
a good
you.
night. All right. All right.